Hi, I'm Ram. In this video, we are going to look at a barebones full stack Next.js application that leverages the OAuth 2 protocol to provide secure social sign-on. We will be using Auth.js, formerly known as NextAuth, as our implementation framework, and we have containerized and deployed the entire setup as a serverless application on Google Cloud Run. The core goal of this tutorial isn't to build a complex UI, but rather to focus heavily on the real-world cloud engineering and deployment steps required to get a NextAuth application running seamlessly on Google Cloud Platform. Our application allows users to authenticate using Google as our primary identity provider. While we are focusing on Google in this demo, adding other social providers follows the exact same architectural pattern. Once authenticated, our app parses the user's profile data into a backend cloud database. In our case, we are using Firestore. Let me give a short live demo of this OAuth application that is currently hosted on GCP as a Cloud Run service. As you can see, the application is going to be intentionally minimal. The home page features a single sign in with Google button, and when I click this button, it is going to trigger the secure NextAuth handshake, shifting us seamlessly over to the Google's official authentication screens. I'll go ahead and complete the login process here. Now we are authenticated and immediately routed to our private user dashboard. Even though this is a demo, under the hood it's doing exactly what an enterprise production grade application will do. Our background code intercepted the sign-on event, verified our identity, and securely synchronized our user profile data directly into the database, which is Firestore, and it committed the user profile data into the Firestore layouts before letting us in. Now, if you see, we are able to hover back to the home page by clicking this dashboard title, and when we go here, you notice that previously you saw a sign in button. Now that is showing as go to dashboard, and clicking on that will actually take you to the dashboard, and this time you are not challenged for a password. So you could do this multiple times, going back and forth, and this happens because the NextAuth securely seals our identity into an encrypted browser cookie session. Our home page checks for the presence of this active valid session on the server side. If the session is existing, then it serves the dashboard shortcut like what you see here. And if a session is not present, then it shows the login prompt. This state checking pattern is the foundation of almost every modern SaaS application. Now that you have seen how the live application functions on the cloud, let's dive into the repository source code to see how it's all wired together, and then we will step by step redeploy this source code into a brand new GCP project completely from scratch. Welcome to the part 2 of the demo. Here I am sharing my VS Code terminal, and you could see that there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 files that I plan to share. So let's start with the package JSON. So here you see that I'm using the NextAuth version 5.5. So rest of the dependencies are all created when I created my the next app. So now we will go to the second file, auth.js. So this is the code where we are initializing the Google provider, and when we initialize the Google provider, we take the Google ID and the Google secret from the env files and pass it on here. So this is something, the Google secret and Google ID are something that the GCP environment would give us, and we will look into that in part 3 of the demo. And also I have this callback. This callback is basically a callback that is that will intercept the sign-on process, and we get to have this callback called, at which point we create a collection like this, demo Google sign-on users, in our Firestore, and we insert this document here, and also update if it's a repeating customer. So that's what we do in auth.js. Page.js is a simple thing where this await auth basically is a call into the NextAuth, which returns as a session, and here is a ternary operator. If the session is valid, then we don't have to ask the user to log in again, so we provide a link that will take the person to the dashboard. And if they have not logged on, then basically it's a HTML form with a single control button, which is a submit button, which will act as a submit button. And then you have this route.js. This is the file that is exposing all the authentication endpoints to the web. So when there is a handshake happening between our application implemented by NextAuth and then the social network provider, the endpoints that are required are implemented by NextAuth, and we simply expose them through this file. So what happens is, NextAuth is basically handling our entire authentication process. Env local file, we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variables here. The first one being Google project ID. So this value here is where we will be deploying our application into. And then we have the auth Google ID, which is a client ID that the Google Cloud Platform provides us when we create an application to represent this code. So basically it issues an ID saying that, hey, this is the ID. So when you go to Google, Google knows that from the ID who it is. So that's what auth Google ID is. Auth secret is used by NextAuth to encrypt a user's session cookie, and this could be any long string of numbers. We could produce that probably using this Node.js script, where this is exactly the exact command, and that should produce a long string, and you could put it in there against this auth secret. And auth URL, you got to make sure that this is a fixed name. You cannot modify it because you are not providing it into a method as an argument. So this is being already read from the environment by the NextAuth libraries. So auth URL is a fixed name, and basically that is a URL that that you say that Google should redirect. So redirect your call, your HTTP call, right? So this can only be derived after you deploy on the Google Cloud Platform. So since we have something already deployed, I'm able to produce this. But otherwise, you may have to wait for a single deployment and then copy it back. And then we have this auth Google secret, which is basically a secret that is exchanged between this application and Google. So when a user signs in, NextAuth will be sending this secret string directly from the Cloud Run backend to the Google's authorization servers. So this is so that Google can give the user profile information. So this back-to-back verification ensures that a third party, a malicious third party, cannot impersonate these identities. And as a note, the Google secret is supposed to be kept secretly, and you are not supposed to expose it. But here I am showing it only for the purposes of the demo, and I'll be deleting this entire set of secrets and anything related to the project I'll be deleting, and anything related to this demo I would be deleting. So it's not a security issue for me, but in real world you got to make sure that you move the secret into a secret manager. That is one of Google's recommendations. So once I have all the source code ready and I'm ready to deploy, I use this command gcloud run deploy, and I do this deployment specifying that anyone could use it. Anyone could invoke it. That's what allow unauthenticated is telling. And I deploy it in the US Central 1 region. So that's what this command is all about. Now let us move to part 3 of this demo. Thank you. Hello. Now we are in part 3 of our demo. What you're seeing now is the Google Cloud Platform's console. I am on this project where I have my application to be deployed. This is the project. There is a project ID that is associated with this name. We already saw that ID in the part 2 of our project. Now we will go and create a service account that we will dedicate as the account that will run our Cloud Run application, and that will have bare minimum security permissions assigned to that, so that it is secure. If you let the default service account take care of your Cloud Run app, which is fine, but not recommended, because that service account runs with all the permissions, So now it is recommended we create a service account and assign bare minimum permissions. So now I go to IAM admin and go to service accounts, and I create a service account. I'll give a name like, okay, I created so now we will assume, we will give bare minimum permissions here. So we said this application is writing into Firestore, so I need to provide permissions to access and update Firestore. So the role that is recommended is Cloud Data Store user for that particular purpose. And also we said we are going to have secret installed in the Google secret is going to be installed within the secret manager. So we need to assign another role, which is called secret manager secret accessor. So it's a long name, so that's what it is. So now I have the role that will allow me to write into Firestore, and the role that will allow me to read the secret manager's keys and the private key, the keys that we store in there. So I have assigned those two. I do a continue, and then I can click done here. Now we create the OAuth 2 credentials that our application requires. So we go to API and services, and we go to credentials. Then here we have to create a new client ID. So we click on create credentials, click on OAuth client ID. We have a web application. And now we have to add the origins of our application. And then we will add redirect URI. It's got the same base URL. We suffix with API auth callback / Google. So this is our redirect URI. And now we could create this. Now this box pops up. Here you can see that there is a client secret that is displayed. And like I said before on the video, this is a secret that is best put in the secret manager. And I'll be deleting this after this demo is done. So in order for you to make sure you copy all this temporarily, you could download this as a JSON file and then copy the stuff that you need from this file into the deployment descriptors. So I'll be doing behind the scenes, but this is what you have to do. So now that the client is created, you have the secret and you have the client ID. So now we will navigate to the secret manager and create a new secret called auth Google secret. This is the value we got when we created the client ID. So I copied it from the JSON file that was downloaded. Now I create secret. Now we are coming to the last part of the application. Basically you go to the Cloud Run services, select the service, and then once you go there, go to edit and deploy new revision, and in here you select the variables and secrets, and this is the part where you will be modifying or inputting the new values of your project ID, Google ID, and then the auth secret, which is something that generated and used by NextAuth, and then the auth URL is the redirect URL. The client secret, as you can see, we are simply referring here, but the actual value is not available here. So this is how you reference the secret under this part. Okay, so this is pretty simple. And then the other thing that you need to do is you go to security and then make sure that the security, the service account that you created specifically for this particular Cloud Run, that has got the cloud data store access and then the secret manager access, that is the one that you select here. Once you do that, you select it, and then you are able to hit deploy. What you need to do in order to deploy a NextAuth application into the GCP environment. Thanks for watching, and please leave your comments below in the video. Thank you. Bye.